good morning. It's right now 8 o'clock, and the last week I was sick, and when I woke up the last week, it was Wednesday. I woke up and started drinking my coffee, and I didn't have any kind of taste when I drank my coffee. It was more like COVID stuff. I don't know, because I heard, during COVID period that it was when you wake up and you don't have any kind of taste, you normally have COVID. But I don't know, maybe it's just a fever, normal fever. But winter is coming, and I often have fever in winter, so last week was really bad for me. I have to blow my nose quite often, but it's okay. I feel good. Forecasting is about the snow this week, so probably tomorrow you will have the first snow in the city, so I hope to be there with my camera and start shooting and taking pictures and footages. So this morning I had an interview with a technical engineer in Pune, India, and these were very nice guys. So I had an interview for a Java software engineer role in Geneva. So there is an office in Geneva for Tech Mahindra, and so I had an interview for a technical lead Java software engineer. I have to admit it was a bit experienced interview for me, but I had a nice experience, and you always have to catch positive vibes from those kind of interviews. I started learning Vue.js for getting an application for my recruitment. So I posted 2 applications for a Vue.js role. So the Vue.js framework was apparently a key for that role, so I applied and I showed my GitHub repository. This day is not just talking in this room, we are going outside. 0 degrees, 2 degrees, we don't mind, we're going to the cafeteria and start blogging, talking code, and about my life as a software engineer. Bye. I want to make a coffee at home, and I want to show you that this one, the last pour over cone that survived, because I've broken like 3 times the cone, and this is the one. So okay, it's over. I am in the middle of this place in Geneva. I didn't know the existence even, and it's really cold, like 2 degrees, and I've literally seen cars with snow on the roof. It's crazy. It's been like a week and a half I haven't been in Geneva city, and wow, it's weather really changed. So really can't wait for the snow to coming and forecast announce the snow this week. Really can't wait. So there are a few job offers in Geneva that are really interesting, and I don't want to miss that opportunities, but I have to learn Vue.js. Vue.js, it's the framework, the new front-end framework or library, whatever you want to call it. So you've been doing Angular for several years, 5, 6, 7 years Angular, gone off. You don't need it anymore. You have to master Vue.js all along the backend framework. In that case is Java, Spring Boot. I won't go far from it. So Node.js, even if I see opportunities as a Node.js backend developer, I want still catch an opportunity as a backend Spring Boot Java software developer as a backend. And let's learn it. Let's learn Vue.js. But first, let's go grab a coffee. So the fact that MacBook unlocks directly with the iWatch, it's really cool. Hey guys, in case you ask, a mochaccino in Geneva is 6 Swiss francs, corresponds to more or less $6, 6 euros. Yeah, so that's it. That's the price, but I love it. So it is always the same struggle with frameworks and JavaScript libraries. You have to follow documentation. And for me, the most important part is when you put your applications in production, and I follow the React documentation, Angular documentation, Vue.js documentation, and it's always the same struggle. You cannot understand and make it working fine with environment variables as a secrets, but deployed on your deployment service. So you build locally your applications, you put your environment variables in your .env file, and then what? You want to deploy the service and you don't understand why your application's environment variables are not deployed correctly on your service, and you have to do tricky stuff. So I started using Vue.js version 3 from scratch, and I built it with the Vite, and this is a new module bundler, and there are some environment variables with the Vite and a full documentation. Guys, it doesn't work. So I put applications production, and the Vite API URL for pointing to the backend doesn't really work. So it's always the same story of tricky stuff. So I had to put in a config and a shell script for converting my Vite API URL and injecting in the document of my index HTML via the engines. I mean, this is a tricky stuff, but learning a new framework, especially a Vue.js, a JavaScript library, it's very tricky when you have been doing Angular during 5 or 7 years. So yeah, but that's the situation. I had to do that, and the most important point is that I had to deploy at least 2 or 3 applications in production to show to the people who will see my profile that I have the basic or intermediate knowledge of the framework, and yeah, I'm good to go. The question is, do you want to record the user from GitHub authentication? Because the classic JWT authentication with login, username and password record the username, email, but in case of GitHub login, you don't have, probably the username is null, the email is null, so look at it. You log in with here, with the GitHub, and you process your login, and in case of the user account that has username, but you can also have, just let's copy this one and log in with this Safari. You log in here, GitHub, and you know you have welcome back user, GitHub user, because I logged with another different account from GitHub, and this particular account had no email, no username set. So it's up to you to handle database persistence with that specific user, but in my case, I only wanted to register a username and password as an anonymous GitHub user, just displaying to the user GitHub user. Yeah, and that's it. So I just want to record this and generate a JWT token. Alright, there is the Apple Store down there. I just want to stop by and see what the MacBook M4 looks like. I promise, just stop by, not buying it, because I have to be honest, I'm a bit tired of the dark gray. So I know that the light gray, it's very, very popular, and this is the most bought MacBook M4. So let's go take a look what it looks like.
So no filming at the store. So the security guy told me you cannot film in the store. Yeah, I can understand that. I just explained to him that I normally blur people when using focus lens like this one. I'm using the Tamron 28-75. So there is normally no people looking in the screen. But yeah, just had a quick footage on the screen of the MacBook, and that's it. It was real quick, but the MacBook M4, basic one, gray, light gray one, it's beautiful. It's like, yeah, the color I always wanted. But that time, with the huge deal that I made with a MacBook M3, I'm happy with the anthracite dark gray model. I don't know if you guys can see, but there is snow on mountain. Hope you guys can feel it. I'm not sure, but this place, that feeling, it started snowing. It's what I've been waiting for since 1 year. So it started snowed, it's cold, it's winter. Let's get the winter season started with fondue and cheese and all of sweet stuff. Well, look who he is, Raphael. How are you? This is my best friend, Raphael. So just meeting 5 guys here in Geneva.
2 guys, not 5 guys.
2 guys, 5 guys. So just take a burger and enjoy it.
The rain.
Have a nice lunch, guys. I started on Excalibur, so the front end on this Spring Vue.js app, and we have the back end. So I have to modelize this one, and it really helps me having my flow in mind and understand if I'm doing something wrong in my flow when you start writing it down. It really helps having your process, the entire process in your mind clear, and analyze if there are some bugs in your flow and fix it. Snowing a lot outside, so I was looking for a hat because I realized, where am I going? I realized that I don't have a very nice hat for winter, made by wool, something not so sporty, so I was in this store in Geneva. Christmas tree everywhere for the decoration, and yeah, I was looking for a wool-made or a cotton hat, like worm. This one, simple. You like that? Check and wolfskin, or this is also the blue one. Simple? What do you think? Okay, I want to definitely buy this one because there is the inner part in some synthetic winter-made material. It is good, so I will definitely take this one. I love it. Well, if you're expecting me to take some winter footage outside, it should be protected, right? So here we go. so I don't want to take the one with the fur. But I love it. It's warm, and for outside the weather, it's perfect. Let's go! Well, it's a shame because entering the store and it stopped snowing, so it's not snowing so much. It's definitely cold, about 0 degrees Celsius. I love it. Very glad to share with you guys there in production, so you can see on the production link fly.io dev and repository name. So didn't use any UI library, any CSS framework UI library, because I didn't have time to dig it with the framework that I want to use. I would like to use Prime View as I use the Prime NG for the Angular part for the full stack application. Now that I have a full stack with Vue.js, I would like to use Prime View, but yeah, I'm not an expert and I don't have a lot of time to dig deep with those UI libraries. Should be pretty easy, but I've started to install it, importing the necessary libraries, CSS and all stuff, but I was losing time to understand why it didn't compile. So, but the application works, so it's not responsive because it didn't have a lot to do with the CSS. Didn't have a lot of time to refine the components. They only work buttons. It has to do what it has to do. It works. Security, the login, sign up, the GitHub configuration for signing up the user. There is a timer, the session, the token, validation token, the JWT access and refresh token. Yeah, it's all I needed for that. So I really hope that it just was a taste of snow that we're going to have, because this winter I hope it's gonna get very cold, because I like it, and maybe I take some footage on mountains if I have the chance to go on skiing. Stay tuned for next video, guys, and I hope you guys will have a fantastic weekend.